Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm making blackcurrant mousse with fresh berries in season. This is very light and full of berry taste dessert. Please keep in mind that for this mousse you can use blackcurrants, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries or blueberries, and they can be fresh or frozen. So what is a mousse? A mousse is a soft prepared food that incorporates air bubbles to give it a light and airy texture. It can range from light and fluffy to creamy and thick, depending on preparation techniques. A mousse can be savory or sweet. Last year I got a hold of 10-pound box of fresh blackcurrants, so I froze some and used it in different types of desserts. If you've never tried a blackcurrant, it is native to temperature parts of Central and Northern Europe, also Eastern Europe. It has tart-like taste. Here is the list of the ingredients for your screenshots and also will be listed in a description box below. Let's get started. You will need 400 grams, which is a little bit under a pound of blackcurrant. If you're using the frozen ones, you need to thaw them out a couple hours prior. You also will need 300 to 400 grams of icing sugar, depending on the sourness of your berries. 4 eggs, preferably pasteurized, because we will be using raw eggs in this recipe. 300 milliliters of heavy whipping cream. 100 milliliters of water. We will need that to dissolve gelatin, and also you will need 15 grams, which is 2 packets of unflavored gelatin. We're gonna start by pureeing our blackcurrants, and I'm gonna use my NutriBullet. You can use the hand blender or the food processor. And pureeing means achieving a very smooth texture and later straining it to get rid of the seeds. Well, guess what? I'm not gonna get rid of the seeds of the blackcurrants because I want to preserve as much berries as I can. And if you want a little bit smoother texture of your mousse, of course you have to strain it, but keep in mind you still will need 400 grams of it, so twice of the amount of berries might be needed. To our puree of blackcurrants, we're gonna add 300 grams of icing sugar, and icing sugar, unlike regular sugar, will not water down your puree since it has a little tiny amount of cornstarch, which will serve in our case as a stabilizer. We're gonna separate 4 eggs into egg yolks and egg whites, and since they're fresh eggs used in this recipe, and if you're afraid of eating fresh eggs and afraid that you're gonna get sick, you can pasteurize them yourself by dropping them in 100 degrees Fahrenheit water and keeping them there for 1 minute. Add egg yolks into your puree of blackcurrants, and we're gonna use the hand mixer to blend them and also whip them slightly. The mixture has to get much lighter and much thicker in texture, so that process will take you about 5 minutes and then you will get this result from it. We're also gonna get our gelatin mixture ready. In a small saucepan, add 100 milliliters of water. Then we're gonna add 2 packets of gelatin. This is unflavored gelatin, and each packet has 7.5 grams in it, so we will be using 2 packets for this recipe. And then when your gelatin is gonna get plumped up like this, we're gonna heat it up on a low heat until it is completely dissolved and all the little lumps are gone. So just use mild heat to do that. Then you need to crank up your heat and bring your gelatin to a boil and boil it for exactly 1 minute until it looks like this, which is gonna be clear. Cool it down slightly before we add it to our blackcurrant puree and egg yolk mixture, and then add it and mix it, and try to do it very carefully so we do not deflate our blackcurrant puree and egg yolk mixture. And after that we're gonna go to next step. And going to a next step would be adding some air bubbles to our blackcurrant puree to make it into a mousse. So we're gonna whip up some heavy cream until the soft peaks, and carefully we're gonna mix it into our blackcurrant, egg yolks, and gelatin mixture. And try to do it very carefully so you do not deflate your whipped cream. And because remember, we have to get as many bubbles as we can in this dessert. Even more bubbles will be added by whipping up the egg whites that we set aside. So we're just gonna whip it up also to soft to medium peaks. Because if you get it to the stiff peaks, would be kind of difficult for you to mix it into your mousse and to make it a very smooth texture. Then add your whipped egg whites into that mousse mixture, and we're gonna be mixing them in very carefully and taking our time, just making sure everything looks nice and even, and then your mousse is gonna look like this. After all this hard work, all we need to do is just transfer our mousse into some kind of dessert cups. So I'm using these little dessert cups. I'm gonna fill them up with our mousse mixture until the rim. And after that, all we need to do is just to refrigerate it. And patience, my friends, after 3 or 4 hours, you will get this. Look at this. It's completely set. You can turn it upside down and it's firm. It's kind of gelatin like, but at the same time it's very light in texture. So I'm gonna be serving my mousse with some whipped cream or the cool whip and some leftover black currants, and of course 1 leaf of mint, just to make it all pretty. And then you get something like this. Look at this. It's so delicious. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon.